Damanerds, episode 31. You're in it, and we are in it too. I'm super excited. This is going to be a wonderful episode for all of your nerdy-ass ears to enjoy. There's going to be a lot of history dropped, a lot of great stories as well. Deep meaning in episode 31. Here in Japan, it is Sunday, March 29th, 1:13 in the afternoon, 13th year. I say that again, 13th year of Sander. Welcome. My name is MJ. I'm always accompanied by my host, the wonderful Rod Dama. What is up, Rod?
Hey, what's up, nerds? You know, just hanging out here, recording episode 31.
Yes.
Fucking hype. It's going to be a good one.
Yes.
You know, for me, it's still Saturday. I'm in the past. As you guys know, MJ's in the future over in Japan. So for me, it's Saturday the 28th, 9:14 a.m.
Yeah.
And, you know, since we're speaking of time zones, we got one, we got two, we got a third time zone jumping in here because we got the one and only guy hanging out with us today is fucking Sourmash.
What up? Sourmash.
What up,
the one and
Hey.
only Mr. Sourmash himself. Holy shit.
Sweet. All right. Thanks for the intro, man. Feel great.
Yes. Super stoked for this one. I think there are a lot of people who possibly don't know. We've, been grinding kendama for so long. I'm sure there's people who are like, what is a sour mash?
Dude, totally. And I've
Yeah.
been like, not super active in the scene for a while either.
But still super stoked to have you on the show, and hopefully a lot of people will now understand what sour mash, who sour mash is, I should say.
Who and what?
Great things he gave to the community that fucking really like very futuristic, ahead of his time. Everyone was like, this is a game changer, and now it's just like a normal thing. So
That's right.
Steve Pinkleton.
Pilkington.
Pilkington, how are you doing? How did you, I don't even know where to start because there's just so much history behind this whole thing. Like, when did you start Dama? Like, what did you contribute to it? How did you get the name? Like, why did you think about bringing art into a tama instead of just slaying tama, like the Dama? Like, there's so much. Where should we start, Rod? I don't even know.
I don't know. I know a lot of this starts off with Mash and Weens meeting and hanging out when you guys were younger, making music and shit, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's how me and Weens met. We worked at a restaurant together. We were like hosts.
Oh shit!
And
what was the name of the restaurant?
Jillian's.
Shout out Jillian's.
It was they had like a bunch of video games in the other Jillian's, kind of like a Dave and Buster's. I don't know if you know that.
Okay.
Either, but.
Nope.
I don't know Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, it's like some chain. But anyways, that's what we used to do. They used to pay us to fucking stand around and fucking pretend like we were doing shit.
Nice.
So
So there you guys hit it off right away, or you guys like rivals for a second, like who could look like they're doing the most amount of stuff during the day or not?
Nah, there's never that. Yeah, not really any rivalry at all. Actually, we were just fucking bored.
Both of you were beardless at the time.
I think so, dude. And then Jake, I think used to shave his head around that time too. Like so.
Whoa.
Yeah, he looked like a kid.
Whoa! I've never.
What year?
That's
What year was
crazy.
this around?
Fuck, I don't even know. 2005 maybe, or 2003, 4, something like that.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we're going way back.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, so we were like super young then. Yeah, we would just make music and shit like that. But Dama wasn't coming around until later. So we were just kicking it, making music and going to art school.
And then was it Weens got into Dama and then kind of showed you?
Rice. Rice is...
Rice.
Yeah, Rice has been like in the Dama like forever. Before anybody even knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Rice was already making videos and shit. Like,
oh, he was the weird outcast friend who's like, yo, look at this dork again with his thing. Everyone's making fun of him.
And him and Jake used to skate together too. So they would do that all the time. And then I don't think Jake wanted to fuck with Dama for a while.
I remember hearing on many accounts of different interviews with him how he was very, he was standing off from starting it because he already had he started fixed gear biking. He had blading and stuff. So he was like, I'm too busy.
Yeah, too many hobbies.
Yeah, and when he gets into something, he fucking gets in. That shit takes over him, and then he takes over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how it started, and I started airbrushing. I bought myself an airbrush for one of my birthdays or something like that. And before that, we were just fucking around with kendama. I was playing. That's around when I started playing. I don't remember how long ago that was. It may have been like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was messing around with the airbrush, and then you get a natty fucking TK16, and it's time to fucking go, So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Started fucking around with it. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Okay, let's segue back. Let's take a step back because I was figuring I should have given a better description because I'm sure there's still some people who don't know Sour Mash.
Sure.
We're going deep. They're like, what? Oh, Weens? Okay. So, Sour Mash, Mr. Sour Mash. He was one of the first people to paint on Natty Damas to create a sticky paint for everyone. So we can all level up in different types of balancing tricks, lighthouses, and finally getting those lunars. Even with a Ken that's not super balanced, if you had that mash paint, that shit was fucking magical, and it helps so many people.
It was magical.
Yeah. And of course, it started off with a lot of, solid colors, but then he started to put different colors within a single tama, different art on it. So then I feel like tracking almost was born from that. People were like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah. Those stripes, those mash stripes.
Yeah, putting different types of color. He did a lot of work with Deal With It. I have so many Mash Deal With It collabs.
Hell yeah.
The old the OG Mash Rastas, dude.
Yeah.
Those were the shit.
I mean, so everyone, whenever you hear us old fucker OGs talking about TK16, you can't do anything unless you fucking have TK16. You don't know what it's like. Smell my stinky ass old farts. We lived through that. It was hard times. And then when God fucking sent Mash down to paint Tamas, it was
sent them down from heaven above.
Unreal. All right. So everyone wanted a Mash Tama. There's a few other painters in the scene who are also making sticky paints and stuff. So this is why Mash is a big deal, because he created the idea of stickier paint or sticky paint.
Yeah.
And different types of colors, designs, bringing art into it. It was really a good mix, a good mash of two different things, this art and this skill toy. Fucking yeah.
Oh, man.
Sweet.
So that is Sour Mash, and I destroyed his correct name from before. His close friends call him Steve. Is that short for Stefan?
No, but
Steve.
just Steven, the one with the V. But
the one with the V.
Everybody calls me Steve here in Texas.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, everybody calls me Mash. I'm kind of used to it now, but it was a little weird at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even at the tattoo shop, I'm like, yo, call me Mash. And they're like, Steve-O.
Steve-O.
Disregard. We're just going to call you Steve-O.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, and then
so I want to take a step back to what you were talking about, MJ. You're talking about back in the day, when Mash was bringing out the sticky paints and stuff and blowing minds with all that shit.
Right. As well as
really well received at the time, which is a funny. I know we've talked about this in previous episodes a little bit, but that when you first came out with the sticky shit, we were all kind of like, yo, this is fucked up. This isn't kendama. You can't do this.
Yeah.
People were not having it. They were like, what? No, this is cheating.
Yep.
It'd be like, yo, I did a lunar flip, dude. It's like, yeah, but you did it on a mash. So
Yeah. We're all scared of change.
I think that's kind of an interesting thing that you kind of brought this thing before people were even willing to accept it. And people were not down. And then it was now everybody's all about it, and now you haven't been making them, so it's probably like, what the fuck? That must be frustrating.
I think back, like, when it started, like, it seemed more like a Grom thing, you know? Like, if you were a newbie and shit like that, like, it was okay to use the sticky Dama.
You couldn't hack the TK land. Oh, I can't do it on the TK, dude. Yeah. Get me a mash, Yeah, exactly. Totally.
And then, so, I mean, but then eventually, like, people just started getting so fucking amazing at kendama that it didn't really even matter what the fuck you were using because the tricks were so damn hard.
Yep.
No, totally. You know? And, like, the fact that each trick is like progressing in its own direction so far that like different kendamas are honed for different things where like you know, even if it's a TK you can still do lighthouse tricks on it, so it's not a big thing.
Right.
It's crazy.
So when you were hanging out Rice and with the Weens as well, you were hanging out a lot, you were close friends at that point?
Me and Ween's been friends for like super long, since, you know, the early 2000s. And like, I don't know exactly when Rice and Ween started skating together, but that's like, I think how they were like hanging out at first, right?
Right.
So they
skating.
Yeah. They would skate together.
Dama.
And then, exactly. Cause Rice was already into that shit. I don't even know when the hell he started, but it seemed like he was always playing that. Yeah. And then more people started making videos and stuff like that. I forgot exactly what was going on. And then, so then I started messing with it. Up. Yeah, this was like before Ken Garden.
Oh, okay.
This was before like Jake wanted to mess with anything. You know?
Right.
This is when he was still denying it.
Yeah.
wasn't ready for it yet. He's still making room for it.
Yeah, and then eventually, you know, it just takes over, and then we like playing Dama, pretty much have one most of the time. And
so when did you step in and be like, yo, all these plain whack-ass colors are whack?
Well, you know, I had always been like making shit. Customizing clothes, t-shirts, whatever the fuck, just everything. Okay. You know, yeah, exactly. Because like it was like, you know, like when people make products and shit like that, when you don't know how to get it to like the professional standard where it could be like sold in stores and shit like that, like that's kind of all sort of like the learning and wanting to customize shit to make them look really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, then they just started fucking with kendamas.
Right. So before that, you said you got the airbrush.
Yeah, I bought myself an airbrush. I learned that shit in high school. Like I took a class, and so I knew all the basics already. And then like graffiti and stuff like that for a long time. Same basic principle. So
right, paint goes here, stays on. Nice.
Yeah. Spray. Paint does that.
So were you making them just for yourself at the beginning? Did you make one like, what was the first one? Was it like a gift for somebody? Did someone ask you to do it, or you were just fucking around? Just fucking around, like just a different canvas to make art, you know? Okay, nice. That's the idea. So do you still have it? Do you still have the first one you ever painted? I left it at my mom's house, but you know, and that one wasn't even like the only thing that was airbrushed on that one was the top coat, the gloss coat. That one I like painted a fucking girl's face on there. All right, nice. I think with like paint too, but it was pretty cool. I have no idea where it was. That thing was like an old fucking beat up TK. Like, oh wow, oh damn, that shit had it. Yeah, and then I put in work on that thing. Right. Yeah, you figure like you're not gonna mess a new one, right? You're just like, whatever. Here's a bust of it. Let me test it out. Try it. But yeah, I don't know where the fuck it went. My mom said she didn't do anything with it, but you know how that shit goes. Oh yeah. Toss it everywhere. Then we painted like a few I painted a trophy for the Ken Garden battle things. Okay. Oh yeah. And then that one, I think that was like the second or third Dama I ever painted. It just kept going from there. Like at first, I was painting like the whole fucking can and everything, all the cups, and yeah. Oh yeah. Getting crazy. So then, who decided? Like for some reason, I kind of feel like Jake was the one to maybe pushed you into creating more things. I know there was the famous sauce, the sauce. That was made. Was that, yeah. Who, or was it? There was a bunch of good ones. that decided like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking get a little more serious with this and design, try to sell?
That happened with Rice. I think got signed to KenCo. Is what happened.
Oh yeah, he was on KenCo.
Yeah, right? So it was around that time. He said that one of the dude from KenCo, Lex, was like getting a bunch of fucking calls about or emails about custom kendamas.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, then I see the opportunity there, and I'm just like, let me put some shit together. So I put a little like plan together where I was like, yo, you could fucking. We could do some kind of collab thing where I paint on your kendamas and like figure that shit out, right?
Yeah.
I had this all little fucking badass plan on how to do it and shit.
Nice.
And then dude was like, oh yeah, that sounds awesome. Here's like 30 kendamas. Can you just paint these?
Oh, nice.
And that's exactly how it started. Like that was the first batch order.
Did they have the artist's signature like by Sourmash KenCo Damas?
No, not even like that really too much. Cause they didn't know how to like, no one knew how to brand that shit at that time.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
And they were all fucking Azoras too that we were painting around them.
And did you actually have the Sourmash nickname?
Oh yeah, that was before that. So I had been doing music under that moniker. For a minute.
Word.
The Love Doctor.
Yeah.
I was listening to that one today, man. I love that shit.
Hell yeah, man.
So what is it? Is it just because?
For those of you guys who don't know, quick little injunction there. Check out Mr.Sourmash on Spotify. There's a couple sick little tracks on there. One of which is the Love Doctor, which is why I said that.
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna put one of those as gonna be the jam track on this episode for sure.
100%.
Nice.
But so why you just like whiskey a lot? I know like Sourmash is how do you create whiskey?
No, it actually has a way more nerdy origin.
Oh, nice. We are the Damanerds. Let's get fucking nerdy. Let's nerd out.
So in one of my fucking writing classes in college, I had to write a story. And so I wrote a story about a space trucker. And the space trucker's name was Sourmash.
Oh, shit.
And he had a little robot named CB-150.
Nice.
And then the spaceship was also a robot too, so it was all one big thing.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
But pretty epic story. I took a lot of the shit from Dune, all the weirdness.
Yeah.
And mixed it with kind of like the sort of campiness of Star Wars.
Okay. Well, especially with the robot's name, that was very
exactly, right? Exactly. That was the whole point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then, that's where I just took the name and just started using it.
Do you still have that story? I want to fucking read that shit now.
Maybe.
Sourmash the Space Trucker.
Yeah, Space Trucker.
At one point, I didn't want to lug around all my college shit that filled up, like, one of those filing cabinets.
True, yeah.
So I bonfired most of that shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of exes, old like clothes and stuff. You're like, fuck this shit. You're like,
just fuck it. I don't want to think about any of this
fluid everywhere.
The original Sourmash really is cosmically trucking in smoke form right now. He's just gone.
Damn. So
pretty much.
So that was Sourmash.
Pretty much.
So you got all those KenCo Damas painted.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know that you did that. I remember seeing a few like artist series on Kendama USA's website with you and a bunch of other people. But for me, the biggest like introduction for Sourmash, because I was living in Japan already, was through Deal With It.
Okay, yeah, that was already when we were like in full swing.
So KenCo was before all the Deal With It stuff.
Yeah, that was like a while before that too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember you did with KenCo. It was mostly like with like they did like a few like releases of like some staple ones, right? Where you kind of did like the Rastas and like whatever other ones were there.
The Rastas and the they called them raisins. They were these purple ones.
Oh, dude, I have one of those. Yes.
So wait, so did you originate the Rasta then?
No, it was I think a Casey Winner or something like that that they wanted to copy.
Battle.
Casey Battle.
Yeah. KCN. KC was the winners. KCN was the battles.
Oh, okay. Sick. Yeah,
I don't know what the N stands for, but both of the K and C were kendama China something.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, but anyways.
But yeah, so he copied those. I think he wanted it done the same way they did it or something. I don't remember exactly. Or he wanted to switch it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But those were the first batch. I remember
you always did it that way, I'm pretty sure, with the red on the bottom. That was something I always found was funny, that when people did it the other way, where the green was on the bottom. I don't know why. I always thought it was cooler with the red on the bottom. I was like, that's like the target, the bullseye. You're going for the red part.
Ooh.
Right?
But I guess like people say like, yeah, green means go, so it's go for a spike. But like, fuck that. It's all about the red. the old school Rastas were like that. The battles, the mashes. So that's
I think I put the red on the top.
I don't think so.
Oh shit. You gotta do some research.
I'm pretty sure I remember yours were on the bottom, but I could be wrong. Either way.
But yeah, those were those first jams, and like I never painted like tamas before at that point. It was like the first time, and like so, they're finished a certain way too.
Yeah.
Even though they're natty, they're still like polished a little bit.
Right.
Oh yeah, they sand the shit out of them.
Right, and so like it was like dealing with that and learning how basically like how wood reacts, just on like a purely technical thing. So like after that, like I kept piling on paint. So where it started getting like super thick, and it added this like almost like a gummy layer of cushion to it that added even more freaking tack to it.
Yeah.
And so like, and that's how I got rid of blemishes was by putting more fucking paint. And
okay.
Like, yeah. So that's like almost like a happy mistake.
An accident. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like after that, like the reaction and the outcome to it was super tacky, and it had like a really nice grip to it.
Right.
That, and yeah. And so then we got the feedback, and then that's like what people were liking. So that's kind of what I focused on.
Okay.
And sort of tried to tweak that.
Right. So you just continue to do that?
Pretty much. And then like there's always design stuff, but I think with all that stuff, even just art in general, it's like experiments.
Yes.
And then like someone likes something, so you're like, oh, let me fuck with that and see how far I can go with it,
Yeah. What was the process of the technique? Were you really focused on like, all right, these batch of 10 damas, I'm just going to do a bunch of different tests to see what it's going to be like? Or were they more just like mistakes on the way? You figuring out like, oh, if I want to get a nice clean line, I should put tape under that? Or grabbing the old school turntable that broken, so you just fucking that to get a nice like even amount of color around the whole thing? Like how'd that whole process of the tech side go of it?
Trial and error. First, like I think the first like 2, those trophy ones that I painted or whatever.
Yeah.
I just fucking held them by the string and was like,
nice.
Yeah.
And then like, and they're blowing this way and shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, that's trash. Let's try and do something better. Yeah. I knew I had an old turntable.
Yeah.
That was just sitting under my fucking kitchen sink. So
kitchen sink.
Put that shit to some
interesting
use.
Place to put it.
Studio apartment I didn't fucking know what to do with it. I hated that thing, so
it was sitting there waiting for its other use that it didn't know about yet.
Yeah,
it definitely like earned its keep.
Whoa.
Because like when I bought that thing, I got like scammed into it, kind of. Where they tell you it's like one thing, but it's not because they don't really know shit, and I'm young, so I was just like, oh yeah, you seem like you know what's going on.
Right.
That sucks.
But yeah, dude, it was fucking from, kind of one of those bodega looking shops that have all like the speakers and the fucking shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's a bunch of fucking like, Arabic dudes, and they're like, come in. I don't know why I trusted dude, but he was like, yes, just like Technique 1200.
Yeah.
Fucking, I got you. And then so I paid about the same amount, and then it just didn't work the same. It would stall all the time.
Oh man.
Anyway, so I thought I lost money, but then who knew?
Right.
I ended up making it all back.
Hell's yeah.
Joke's on you, bodega guys.
Yeah.
So you had the KenCo stuff. You mentioned there's the Kusa stuff. You had like your own after all of that kind of stuff. You kind of made your own Kens and started doing like Sourmash branded stuff, right?
Yeah, because I just couldn't get enough at first. you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then
I always loved that you just used like the like silhouette-y thing of your face, that logo. It was like such a dope little like, stamp and shit. And you had like the team was only David Forrest. Am I wrong? Right?
Yeah, dude, you had a team.
That was fucking the one dude on the Sourmash team.
I was like, take it over.
He was the homie, man. He was from Calgary.
I like that dude. He's cool.
Shout out Dave. I hope you're listening and still jamming Dama, buddy. I'm gonna hit you up. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, the team thing didn't really pan out because it's like teams are a lot of work and you don't really think about that at first, you know? And like,
absolutely.
I was looking more for a person that would just take it over and head that shit, you know?
Yeah.
But I didn't even know that at the time. So that's what happened with that.
Oh, man. And that was like right before, like maybe, I don't know, like a year or something before you fucking came up to Van Jam that one year. And then you were trying to figure out what you were doing, and I was looking for a house to live in, and and I was like, "Yo, you want to come look with me?" And then we ended up living together for a good 6 months or some shit.
Oh no, shit,
man, that shit was tight, dude.
Yeah, that was good. That was good times, man.
Damn, I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that, MJ?
No, not at all.
Yeah. In this house I'm living in right now, actually, Mash was in the next room over from where I am right now. Yeah.
So you were a Canadian citizen, not a citizen, but you were living there for a bit.
Yeah, just on the tourist visa thing, and then that shit was awesome. I was trying to stay.
Yeah, man, it's too bad shit happened the way it did, man. So it's the way shit goes. We never got like the working visa thing, and then you went to go home. Let's tell the story. You went home for Christmas the one time, and you were gonna bring some stuff back here, and you got stuck at the border. Like, wow, you were just in Canada. What are you going back for with all this stuff?
Oh yeah,
right, dude. Circumstance. I think it just
it just bad luck.
Put it all. Yeah, exactly. Like it all in the context. You can kind of see why like it went down. It's just wrong place, wrong time, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know,
that's just the borders and shit, man. They take that shit real fucking seriously. They don't fuck around,
right?
Oh, dude, and and then the guy who was messing with me and just grilling me super hard and telling me that I wasn't being forthright with him. He had a super duper fucking hot coworker, and I think she was new, ridiculously hot. Where you're like, this is a fucking joke. Someone's playing a joke.
Where are the cameras? Yeah.
Yeah, and she didn't even speak English, dude. She had sexy fucking French accent.
Okay.
I was like, God damn, this is fucked up. And so he had to show out for her, basically.
Yeah. I see. That's oh man.
Yeah. So it was just all messed up. So basically, I had to lie by just admitting to him saying yeah, you got me. I'm lying and saying all this shit. But I wasn't. But he would have kicked me out of Canada for 5 years if I didn't just fucking, been like, you got me.
Right.
Yeah, so I ended up having to lie.
Whoa. Jeez. You're forced to lie. That's fucking whack.
Yeah. It was either that or they were going to fucking ban me from Canada and shit.
Yeah. So you just got turned away.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh man, you got me, dude. This and that. And then he was all cool and apologetic with me after. They're like, oh, it's cool, buddy. This, and that. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, you're a fucking prick.
Yeah, that was a sad day for this house for sure. I was bummed.
Dude, they were reading messages from fucking the house.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, it was I got one rolled up, buddy.
Full interrogation.
I got one rolled up, buddy.
And then this dude's he's like, you better not have any drugs in this car.
Oh.
And I'm like, fucking marijuana's legal, bro. What is the problem?
It's literally legal on either side of the border. What's the problem here?
Whoa.
He was all serious and shit. You better not have any drugs.
When was this? Because didn't that just happen within the past few years?
About 3-4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
all right, because I'm still living in Japan when I left the States, shit was still super illegal, and now I'm in Japan where it's fucking crazy illegal. So when the doors opened up in the States, I'm like, motherfuckers.
And I live in a fucking shit state where it's illegal still. But they don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
There you go. Right? Where are you located?
In El Paso right now.
El Paso!
In Texas, yeah. That's where I grew up.
Nice. So you're back there in Tejas.
Woohoo!
But that's good. That's good. So
I was gonna say too. I think a little part that we missed on the timeline here was before we lived together. You did a Japan tour.
Ooh,
yeah. Thanks to courtesy of fucking Zawa, if I'm not mistaken.
Right?
Zawa, yep. Gloken, Zawa, Steve.
Yeah, and so you got to tour Japan and fucking just paint tamas, do custom paint jobs for people.
Basically, Zawa's slave for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Right?
Sounds about right. That's
following
sounds about right.
Going wherever.
It was fucking great.
That was not your first time in Japan, though, right?
No. I think that was either the second or third time or something like that.
And before you came just for the World Cup?
Yeah, for World Cup.
Nice. I believe that was the first time we met personally, physically, Mash, at Sioux Lab.
Yes.
For the painting session you did.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I still have a bunch of fucking uncut video.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Where's that diary? I remember like on your Facebook or Instagram, you were posting like little snippets of
they're all
days and how they were doing. And then you're like, this is going to be like an awesome like vlog type shit at the end, digest.
I still want it to be that.
Dude, if you still have it, you can still edit it.
It's true. Like a lot of the stuff is like, put into little groups and just like, I don't know. I just didn't have the fucking steam to pull it all off yet.
Yeah. There's a lot of work, dude.
Yet.
But it's still there.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not one to talk.
Hell
I'm still fucking grinding and procrastinating on my catch and flow vlogs that I got. Looking at it right now.
Fuck yeah.
Shit, I gotta do that stuff. But yeah, dude, whatever. Anytime you could just drop that. Everyone was so stoked. Just like going back to the Roots Tour video that came out however many like years after it actually happened.
Oh,
but how awesome was that? I was so excited to watch that.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
That was
fucking time capsule.
Yeah, that was a whole thing, that edit. Man,
there's 2 tours we kind of just mentioned right now where Mash, you were doing paint tours. One in Japan that was full solo, you were headlining. But before that, there was the Roots Tour. Was that the first kind of like tour that you did going around? Were you doing events, painting people's tamas?
That was the first time we were doing that, I think. I don't remember doing it before that.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe the first time anybody really did that. Minus like Tomotsu going school to school, hitchhiking Japan, but that's a different story.
Totally different. A good one, but yeah. Right, yeah, bringing that good old broken-ass turntable and painting people's tamas on the spot.
Because that was like, I wanted to fucking go on the tour and shit. And at that time, I think we had built up enough steam as Mr.Sourmash. So
they knew the name, they knew the logo.
Exactly. So it was kind of like, how do I do this, and do something, So I was like, well, shit, let's paint the fucking tamas. Let's do what what I am here for. Yeah. I think I did like a couple practice runs of fucking like trying to see how that shit would go, painting live or whatever.
Yeah.
But but it was pretty much just like, I figured out the setup, and that was it. And it was like, here you go.
Yeah.
Fucking figure it out. And then all of a sudden, there's a bunch of fucking kids and people like, hey, give me this, give me that. Like,
yeah. Trying
to figure it out and not like, see if I can even do it, because I didn't even know if I could do it at that point.
Right. Like, Rod, you were saying, like, no one else has really done it before, so you were walking into unmarked territory with this.
Yeah. But, and it's like, So.
I was just going to say that I'm sure a lot of people were excited about getting a custom tama, because that's like one of the, like, I'm sure plenty of people are sitting at home looking at like an old natty dama that they try to fucking burn themselves, so they did some art on themselves. There's plenty of people who have that, so it's like,
yeah, man, I spray painted my second dama. It's still painted. It's not bad. I ain't mad at it.
Exactly.
But
see, that's what I'm saying. I spray painted a bunch too in the first few. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But you had the extra, that tack that was the signature. to your damas.
The layers.
Yeah.
That comes with that, like, basically trying to solve problems while you're, like, painting, you know?
Yeah, the tenacity.
It's like, well, how do I cover this blemish, or how do I make it look, like, super shiny?
Yeah.
And that was, like, that was, like, how we got a lot of the tack, too, or how I got a lot of the tack was there was, like, multiple layers.
Yeah.
And then figuring out how it would work, because, like, the other problem that came off, you know, technically in the beginning that you're always fucking trying to combat was dripping.
Okay.
The shit would, like, start to drip.
Yeah, with all those layers.
Yeah. And so it was, like, trying to figure out how that works, you know, because, like, you know, you can only stack, like, a viscous liquid so much on an angle before gravity is just, like...
Right.
Yeah, totally.
But there's also, like, time involved, too. You know, because if you're waiting longer, it's becoming more and more solid and you can stack more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're patient. And so, yeah, it was all like just that kind of thing. And then like figuring it out and then seeing what people like and then repeating it and trying to figure out more.
Hell yeah.
What gave you the inspiration? Or actually, let me step back. Again, deal with it. That's the most Tamas that I've seen that you've painted and stuff. There was a lot of different types of techniques. I think you had like the dry paintbrush making lines. There was the splatters and stuff. There was the fades. How much control of the creative side did you have? Let's talk about like the deal with it stuff. Or was Rice asking you like, do this kind of colorway? Or was it just an open door? Like whatever you want, get creative.
Rice is pretty open to like anything really, but it was more like, I think I do better with like direction, you know, a general sense of like direction.
Right.
Then I can use the little like things I've, you know, learned how to do to fucking execute.
Yeah.
You know? And so then like also on those things, like I'll like fuck around and do little weird designs like the dry brush and stuff like that, right? And then Rice will see these things and then have it in his head knowing that we can do that.
Okay.
And apply it to like future designs.
I see.
You know what I mean? It'll be like, yo, do that dry brush thing or fucking like, let's do the splatters like this and maybe like, you know. Because, a lot of the deal with it colorways we took from yo-yos.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and then we like matched them up and like promoted the yo-yo too.
Yeah, I remember now that you mentioned that. Yeah, one post of, at least I remember just one that was a simple like black coat with like neon splatters over it, and it was like paired up next to the yo-yo. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, that's how that started, because that was around the time when we were like collabing with the yo-yo companies pretty hard.
So you were painting yo-yos too?
No, just we were just going to their events and stuff like that, and they were coming to the Dama events and things.
Nice.
I don't think you want to paint yo-yos. Yo-yos are a whole nother fucking animal, man, because they spin so fast and shit that like if there's any little bit of indiscrepancy, then it doesn't, like, it wobbles and it doesn't do shit properly, and it's a whole thing. So I think yo-yos are usually like galvanized and shit because they're made of metal, right? Fun fact.
And then you made a lot of your own. I think one of the most legendary tamas, or maybe I shouldn't call it a tama, a stove.
Oh,
the stove.
It was the stove.
Yeah,
I thought I was giving you the salute. I thought you were going to say the captain, but the stove is up there too.
The captain is the captain's a big one.
I was doing this before you even said it.
But the stove was something that was turning heads left and right when that shit came out.
Still does in the shop to this day, FYI. It's on the wall in the tear shop.
Yes.
Every time someone comes in and looks at the wall, that's one of the first. What the fuck is that?
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, stove.
So
I love that.
What's the story behind the stove? What was cooking?
The murder stove.
Painting kendamas, listening to a lot of Gucci Mane and drug dealing music.
Yeah.
And them always talking about like cooking up crack and shit off the stove or whatever like that. You know, it's talking about like there's songs called like stove music and stuff like this.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But like the stove has always like been a tool that everybody knows how to use for the most part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
for the most
you're
part.
making creations. Yeah, exactly. Even just cooking, you're like making creations and shit. So I had made a bunch of paintings on canvas where it's like mixed media collage, and I would put a fucking airbrush stove on it. And they were called the kitchen collection. Some had stoves and some had toasters on them.
Nice.
You know? And they were very stylized a certain way, right?
You left a couple of those magnets here. They're on the fridge, actually. The little ones. They're
awesome.
like little mini canvases. There's one on the fridge, buddy.
Fuck yeah, dude. Those are going to live forever.
Yeah. As long as I live, they're going to be on my fridge.
Right? Hell yeah. Yeah, so then since I was already like painting the stove and using it for the kitchen collection, I was like, I'd been messing around with mold making.
Yeah.
I took a class involuntarily in college that taught me how to do mold making.
Involuntarily.
Dude, yeah, because like freaking art school, man. Like I'm supposed to be studying film, and they're making me make industrial speed designs for like automotive fucking things.
That makes sense.
Which made no sense. Yeah, you know, I thought we were supposed to be making like miniatures or some shit for like a set.
Yeah. That would make a lot more sense to get your hands on. Yeah, some sort of film aspect of it.
Exactly, but I ended up learning how to do mold making because of that, and that's what I made the stove out of. The first original piece I made out of clay. It kind of just rough molded that shit. Yeah, and then I casted that one. You know, made the rubber mold or whatever, and then poured the plastic. And then that one was easier to shave down and like make it kind of perfect.
Yeah.
What the hell possessed you to put the hole in the corner instead of in the bottom of it?
Exactly, right? That's one of the keys. That's one of the keys about it. It's It's because I was like holding it and trying to see like aesthetically where the string could come out of it and be, you know, when you're holding it, have it be nice, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just holding it, and I looked, the corner would be fucking perfect. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just do it from the corner then.
Yeah.
And then, you know, of course the hole's going to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I just,
it's like
took over the other corner.
Such a weird thing about it, but it's also like what makes it hard and like
so
fun to play,
hard.
you know? Otherwise it would just be a fucking square tama. It wouldn't be... You know, like I've played like a block tama before, and it's like nowhere near as fun as the stove.
It's
you know?
right. It's a totally different beast. And then there's that like little like lip for the top of the stove.
Yeah,
used to hook on
the back burner.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So you did like a batch of the stoves, and then you did another batch, but you did the murder stoves where they're all covered in blood and shit, right?
Yeah, that was like after. What, a year or two later or something like that.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the first time I got to play one of those things. It was the murder stove.
Hell yeah.
The murder stoves were fun. I'm pretty sure I was influenced by my
more gang rap.
By my coworker.
Oh.
At one point.
You just
because he was doing like horror stuff, and I just didn't even think about it.
I thought you hated him so much
but
that
now
you
that I look
to
at
put
it,
him in the
like,
stove. You're like, this motherfucker. He's like,
put him in.
Well, at that time, maybe.
I'm a Hansel and Gretel your ass, motherfucker.
All right, so that's the Damanerds homework for this episode. Everyone, go find that Roush versus the murder stove or the stove on YouTube.
Yeah,
there you go. That's some great fucking homework. Check that out.
Yeah, that's a good fucking video.
Right? Yeah.
Man. Hell yeah.
Royce versus the stove. Is it called?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's Royce versus the stove. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
He was on fire making those little fucking like Royce versus this.
Oh,
he had like the stove. He had the paw 3-spike. He had like a couple, and then it was all just like
the mini aluminum,
like Adrian Esteban style. Actually, like the black room.
Yes.
Like all you see is him. Like it was fucking. But this was like what 8 years ago. Like
yeah.
Dude, the 3-spike thing. Do you remember the fucking U-moves? With the fucking
on the cups,
well, every cup had a fucking hole in it. the butthole in your base cup, but in the big and little cup also. And then they came with little spikes that were removable that went into it.
Oh my god, that shit was
good. God, nobody did that more than like twice.
Yeah.
Dude,
you're like, this is so fucking hard, so hard.
That shit. Those were the hardest fucking tamas to paint.
Oh, I bet.
Suck to paint, dude. I think they just sanded them down so fine that like paint wouldn't stick to them. Even if you primered that shit, it didn't matter. It was like
even more so than even more so than Ozoras, because in my mind, like Ozoras are like very polished in my mind.
They are, right? But I got used to those. But for some reason, the early batch of fucking Yumus with the ones with the spikes, those things the paint would just it would be dry, and you touch it. And it just wipes off because it's not sticking to the surface.
Whoa. It's that early sweet status, man. You look at it, and chips start coming off of it.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you figured that out and moved past that.
Right? Well, then the other ones were like painting ashwood. That shit's fucking impossible.
Just forever holes in the paint because the wood's so fucking porous.
It just... Yeah, it grows a 5 o'clock shadow as soon as it gets wet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You're like, sand it down, put another coat, and it's like... it just keeps doing it over and over and over and over and over. I'm like, ashwood's kind of crazy, but people like that grainy pop out anyway. You didn't really have to sand it down.
To see that, that is definitely a cool
don't
thing.
you dare sand that, Tama. You keep that fucker rough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's like 2020 Dama knowledge to those of the past. If there's anyone in the past who recently listened, stop sanding your Tamas. Do us all a favor.
we don't gloss coat the fucking ash. Only designs.
Yeah.
So there's maybe people who are listening to this episode. They're on their phones or whatever online now. They're like, let me see. I want a Sour Mash. Where can I get one? But it's been a while since you made them.
I checked out your site. There's still natties up there for sale, isn't there?
There's natties up there for sure. Because I get tired of painting them. I think when you are trying to promote, some Damas to sell or something like that, it takes a lot of being involved in the community. You know, you need to be fucking involved in the community.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you're just gonna get overshadowed by everyone else that's always out there.
Exactly. So it's even though I feel like a lot of OG heads know who I am. None of the newer people are gonna know.
Yeah.
Unless someone tells them stuff like that. But and I'm not spending a lot of time or any time in the fucking community these days. It's mostly just tattoo stuff. So the last few batches I painted, and even before that, I just don't have enough to promote them, so they don't sell. You know what I mean? So, and then when they don't sell, it makes me feel bad because I spend all this time on the designs and shit, and I'm super stoked on them. And then fucking no one buys them, and then I just feel like they're trash.
Dude, I totally hear you. I remember specifically, you did a very good job, figuring out what people wanted, and you created a few posts that were like, "Hey, what kind of half split would you want? Would it be a fade? Would it be just the bottom half? What kind of half?" Okay, and then after everyone gave you your answer, you gave another post. You're like, "Hey, what kind of bird would you like? This. Hey, what kind of colors would you like after that? A week after this. And you're like, all right, sweet. You got all the information, what people wanted, what they like the best. Now, brilliant idea. Let me make this kendama that of all those answers of what people wanted. Here it is for sale. Did it sell?
No.
Right? Sadly, I thought the same thing.
Oh man.
And I'm like, that sucks.
Sold about as good as any of the other ones.
Because that process that you put into it was so good. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. It's trying to get everybody involved, I think I was calling those the people's choice kendamas.
Yeah. It makes total sense. So I feel your pain when you're like, fuck, this sucks. You could lose a lot of motivation from that, putting in a lot of effort. It's like, fuck, man, well, now what? You got to think about another idea. It can be frustrating.
Yeah.
And then when it's that's all you're doing and it's part of your livelihood too.
Yeah.
It starts getting a little stressful as well as
totally
sucking.
Right. Yeah. Each paint, each batch means a lot more if you're, trying to live off of it. It's like, come on.
Totally.
It's either got to work or it don't work. I got to find something else. Yeah.
On the other side of that, though, you've kind of, like you said, you've kind of taken a step back from it a little bit and haven't been as active in the community and stuff. But that being said, you've been coming to events, and maybe the new gen kids and stuff know you more so as like you're the dude who tattoos the Dama people, you know? Because you're always out there slanging tattoos at the events and shit these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exchange the airbrush for a tattoo gun.
Yes, you just evolved, man. You fucking just moved on.
And
to the
that
next
wouldn't
thing.
have happened if the whole Canada thing didn't go down the way it did. You know, when I moved back to Texas, I fucking was like, what do I do now? And then it's like, oh yeah, I used to fuck around with tattooing, so I did an apprenticeship.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then it all just kind of snowballed from there. You know?
How weird is it to get like pig feet and blocks of skin from the butcher just to tattoo?
You know, medical students buy pig's feet all the time for their veins and shit, right? So that's what the lady told me, because she was already used to people asking for that. Yeah. She was like, "Oh, are you a fucking, are you like a medical student?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna tattoo these things."
She probably was so freaked out after you said no, and before you said you were tattooing it. She was like, "Oh God, what is the fuck is this freak gonna say?"
Tattoos are pretty common here, like Chicano culture stuff.
I've heard.
You know what I mean? The like black and gray, the fucking Virgin Mary, that kind of shit.
I've heard in Texas, it's like a really big culture.
Totally. So the lady at the butcher, she was like, after I told her, she was like, "Let me see some of your shit."
Nice. You bring the foot back.
Tight. Did she end up becoming a customer later? You ever tattooed the butcher lady?
No, because the time when I talked to her about that was, I think, one of the last times. It may have been the last time I actually even stocked up on some pig's feet.
Yeah, okay. I was more so thinking like,
so
if you showed her,
to talk to her.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense. But I was more so thinking like, if you showed her your shit, then maybe she like took note and was like, "Oh, Mr.Sourmash," and then later checked up on you to see what that pig feet boy's about now, and he's working on his game or not. You know, like, that'd be funny.
You know, with the pig feet, the idea was like to do like school. You know what I mean? Where you basically just log a shit ton of hours.
Yeah.
And so that's all I tried to do with the pig's feet. I think I got to like 100 or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, to hours that I actually paid attention to, you know. Mm-hmm. It was definitely the closest thing to skin, because once I start tattooing people, you get the same thing, but you just can't go as crazy as you go on pig's feet.
Maybe, yeah.
You'll fuck somebody up.
I'm guessing the pig's feet skin would be a little stiffer than a living thing's skin.
Human skin in general would be.
It accepts the ink pretty fucking similar, you know, like
in comparison to Rod's butt cheek, which was easier to tattoo, a pig's foot or the butt cheek.
I would have to say like pig's feet and butt cheek were kind of similar on the difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were saying it was hard to get the butt cheek because it's not super solid.
So
soft, I don't have that fucking.
It's stretchy.
You can't bounce a quarter off this ass. Sorry, ladies. But I guess gentlemen too, you know.
Just generally, I think, butts are just stretchy, probably.
Yeah. So it makes sense. It'd be hard to do.
But there's like techniques for that shit, and that's what all the training is for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so like, it's just like any other canvas type thing where like you have to deal with the canvas,
Totally, yeah.
And know what works.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what works for like stretchy skin. So.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing like doing ribs are pretty similar.
Yeah. I guess because it moves a lot with your arm movement and stuff like that, right? So it is like kind of stretchy and whatnot.
And it just tends to be stretchy, like not like say like this skin right here is real tight,
Yeah.
It's real
like on
easy
your arm
to make marks on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like rib skin tends to be a little more loose. So it's like you have to stretch more and just like basically drill the fuck out of them.
Hell yeah.
To get that shit in there, yeah.
So how many kendama tattoos have you done now? Do you know, do you have like a tally? Or do you know, like, if you had to like guess like a percentage of the tattoos you've done, how many of them would be kendama tattoos?
I'd say like maybe at least more than 5.
Yeah, I guess you've been doing a lot of tattoos too, so like, and I have no real scope of how many. Like, you probably do like 5 in a day sometimes, so there's probably a.
I wish, dude, I'd be rich.
Yeah, well, shit.
My goal with the tattooing, like if it's busy and shit, I'll book myself for 2 medium-sized tattoos a day.
Okay.
And a medium one would take maybe about 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
And so maybe 2 of those, and maybe a small one after that. Because then I'm not like physically fucking my shit up.
Yeah.
And
you're not like grinding for like 8 hours straight on someone's back or something, like hunched over.
Because your body will get used to that shit. When you're just sitting there doing it, like you're not even thinking.
No, you don't feel it until afterwards, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So, yeah, you might mess your shit up if you do like that.
I can imagine, man. But
yeah, usually like either one large one or two mid ones or like a bunch of small ones.
Shit.
Keep them busy.
Exactly. And that's awesome that it's still within the creative, the craft side of what you've been doing since the beginning, as well as art is very much involved. You still making music?
Yeah, hell yeah.
There you go. Still making music. I just recently saw on Instagram your like little stories, daily stories of what you're doing. Drinking coffee, hot ass coffee.
Right, dude. Those cups are metal.
So, man, I've been missing out. I haven't been seeing those. I'm gonna have to start checking them out.
Oh man, it might be gone already.
I've been trying not to look at my phone as much lately. It's been driving me crazy, so I've just been putting it away.
Pretty much the goal with those ones. Those little movies are like, I've always been so big into fucking storytelling.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Is like in college, I think I was just so bad at it.
But wanted to be good.
The filmmaking thing. Yeah. Okay, so it was always like this. It's like playing the original Zelda and that shit being so fucking hard. It's the same sort of thing to me. Like where I'm constantly trying to like figure out how to tell a cohesive story, you know, through images or what everything put together.
Yeah.
And have it be solid, you know. That's kind of, these little movies are kind of like practicing.
Oh shit. All right. So maybe in the future something big's going to happen.
I hope so, man.
Hell yeah.
You know, I did make a little hashtag. It was for Professional Acting Federation, like fucking like WWF or some shit, right? So that's that kind of acting.
Yeah,
you know, like you acted the hell out of that shit.
Whoa.
So where that goes, I have no idea. But I thought it'd be
everyone,
awesome.
Sounds fun.
Keep your eyes peeled. You're on Instagram, so follow Mr.Sourmash. What's your handle actually again?
Mr.Sourmash.
There you go, Mr. Sourmash.
All one word.
That's it. Follow. So another thing we do on Instagram, as well as everyone who's been supporting us, the Damanerds, kendertainment, up on Patreon, we give them a little heads up that we're going to have a guest on the show, and we do a little Q&A. We've been grinding for about an hour now. So let's jump into these questions.
Yeah, we have.
Some that we've already touched upon within our talks, our deep dives down memory lane. But let's see what the people have to say. We're going to start with everyone, the people who support on Patreon. Let's see. Max Ida from Japan had a lot of good ones. We touched upon. What's the story behind the name? We got Space Trucker. Why a stove? We got that one also. Gangster rap.
Yeah. Gucci Mane.
Yeah, Gucci Mane.
And the art and the stove collection.
Yeah,
the kitchen collection.
The pieces of art that you did. Let's see. Tell us a good Dama memory. Besides being Zawa's slave for 2 weeks, what's a great Dama memory?
Oh, it could be a Zawa slave story. Come on, there's some good ones in there.
I know, because once you said that, I instantly thought of like, I got super fucking pissed at Zawa one day.
Oh yes, tell that one.
I couldn't even look at his face, man. I didn't even want to look at his face. I was so fucking mad. And it was because like he had promised me a fucking day off, man. Just like one day where I don't have to fucking paint any kendamas. We can go like fucking just do something else, you know. But there was damas that got piled up from the last few events and shit. You know, that people didn't get done. So the extra day ended up being the day like we finished a few more, right? Ooh. Yeah, the catch-up day, right? But you know Zawa, right? So it starts off with just 1, 2, just 2. You paint 2, you're good, right? Then it said maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe. By the time I fucking set up everything, this dude was like, 9. 9 Dama, please.
Man.
So I fucking threw a fit, dude, because I was so fucking pissed.
Dude, yeah.
Fuck Zawa, dude. What a guy.
I see both sides. For you, of course, you being tired and wanting to relax, as well as them being like, this is a really great opportunity for these people to get this specific Dama from the Mash himself. Like, that would mean a lot to them.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I wasn't mad at like painting anybody's people. I was more mad at
it
just
starts with
two
just two. Okay, yeah.
Just two. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's like fucking 12, 13, or I don't even know how many we did, but I just remember it was like 10 or more.
You should have just been like, here, I'll teach you how to fucking do it. Turn that shit on, spin it. Here's the paint.
Here's how you fucking paint it. Here's the fucking record player. You fucking smack that thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice. That might have not been a good positive Dama memory, but still fun to look back and laugh at.
That's great. Ended up being positive.
There ain't nothing wrong with getting mad at Zawa, hating Zawa. It's all good.
Nah.
Okay. Another one that we kind of touched upon, maybe. Do you prototype on paper and stuff before you paint, or do you just freehand on the Tama? You mentioned you do some experiments beforehand. You know what is in your bag of tricks. You know you can do the splatters, the dry brush, fades, right?
Exactly. It's actually a lot like tattooing. I think that's kind of probably why I fell into tattooing like that, because you have your bag of tricks. You have things that you can do right off the bat, and you'll know they'll come out good because you've done them a bunch of times already.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's like things like, if you're trying to pull something else off, which is usually depth, if you're trying to make things look separated to a different degree, you might need a prototype, right? You know, like I might draw that shit on there with pencil. I did that a lot, actually. I'll draw on the top with pencil.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is, you know?
Right.
Even the lines, like the stripes and stuff, like the turntable thing only really worked when it was super fucking dialed in.
Well, okay.
Yeah, right.
Once I like got the little centerpiece like really dialed in and like it didn't move because of heat or anything like that, you know, that's when I could do the brushes. And the tamas aren't always fucking straight either. Yeah. Some of them had a fucking wobble to them.
Especially getting them from China and shit. Yeah, you never know. Back in the day, especially nowadays, it's not as bad, but that used to be such a fucking thing.
No. But even nowadays, it's like, it won't look like an egg, but when you spin it, it'll have spots where it's fluctuating.
It'll be like flat spots in the roundness kind of thing. Yeah.
And so, like, you know, if you're painting a fucking, like, 3mm stripe on that shit, that little deviation doesn't work.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you're kind of...
But yeah, so I would mask them out, though. I take a piece of wood. I have a piece of wood that I made as my guide, where I drilled a hole for the pencil to go right into the exact spot. Yeah. And then you just put, you know, a tama that already has the bevel cut out, just put it on a flat surface and you spin it next to the pencil and you get a perfectly straight line.
Hell yeah.
So that's how I would mask
Maybe
stuff
adjust
off,
a little bit since the tamas are getting bigger, but still.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they're both on a flat surface or whatever, like you're
all
great.
Right. Nice. Yeah. Next question. Still Max Ida. He listed a bunch. But last one from him. What is your favorite design that you have done? He says, my favorite was the teal gold brush stripe on, I think it was a hickory, the Captain 2. Wish I had a shaded one.
Oh.
So what is your favorite design that you've done?
What did you say? Teal gold brush hickory?
Yeah, teal gold brush stripe.
That sounds like a dope combo.
It does sound dope.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this, but yeah, fuck yeah. Favorite designs. You know, the Captain was a nice design because I like how that was like a collaborative effort between me and Jake to try and figure out how to do tracking and stuff like that and keep it styled a certain way, you know?
Yeah, as well as like including an illustrator, you know, flair to it, because a lot of your paints are just, you know, just paints different like simple lines or just, you know, cutting it in half, split different colors and stuff. But the Captain was you know, you did your drawing over on the Tama first and then laid the paint on.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that, it was like drawn on. The first like few batches were all just straight drawn on.
Must have taken a lot of time. Shit.
Yeah, there's this cafe that was by my house around that time. I think it was called Blue Danube. So I used to just hang out there, and I'd fucking draw on the, like, kendamas, like, you know, be like old school cafe art guy.
Painting balls. Everyone's like, what are those balls? Cool. What are you going to do with those balls?
But before that, too, like, we did an illustrated Tama series for Kendama USA.
Yeah, those were so sick.
That one, those were sick. Like, it was super fun drawing over the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. I was going to say, those ones were the Ken also, not just the Tama, right? Everything was covered. No,
I drew the Kens later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the original first ones were just the Tamas.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing
both. Yeah, because around then, you know what it was? It was like Sanders or someone was like fucking... He's like, nobody fucking paints the fucking Kens, man. They don't like that shit. And I was like, fair enough. I'm not painting the Kens anymore.
That's pretty true, though. To this day, like, nobody's really ever done it consistently except for Sweets.
But yeah, I think the painted Kens just hit a different market, you know?
Yeah. To me, they've always just felt strange. It's like, it almost feels like your hand turns whatever color the paint is. It doesn't, but it feels like that's what's happening. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
I totally know what you mean. Yeah. The painted Kens are just, they're just weird.
The one thing that I'll give the Sweets ones, they don't paint the spike. The spike is still natty, which looks funny, but makes so much sense because like when it's a painted spike, it like sticks on the bevel and like spike tricks are way harder.
Yeah.
So like...
And there are people that want the fucking painted Kens.
That's true. So it's true. I mean, they do look good when they're fresh and shit. If you're just trying to look like match it with like something sick that like you painted or someone else did something dope on, you know, like dude, it looks dope with it.
I have one of the first ATAC, the full white Ken, like spike included, and I matched it with an Ozora Tama. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Those are throwbacks. Those are good. Okay, there you go. Well, I'm going to point out my favorite because I have it right here. That you did mash with the deal with it. It was the green, nice emerald green on top to fade to black on bottom with a nice gold splatter over the whole shit. Like that was, when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I need one of those right now. That shit is just so, I think it was called Emerald City.
I think so.
Right?
Emerald City.
That gold splash to it was so good. So good.
They kind of look like fireworks
they
from over
and
here.
Of course,
little golden fireworks.
This one, I'm a huge like Lord of the Rings fan, so this one, right away I thought like, that's Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Tama, walnut, nice clear coat with some deep green dry brush stripes on it. So fucking good.
Hell yeah, nice. Super minimal and nice.
Yeah. Awesome,
those ones were dope.
Yeah, right. I'll post those on the Nerds IG everyone later. You can check those out. All right, so that was all from Max Ida. Thanks for the questions. I got one more awesome Patreon who gave us a question, and that is Bish. Miss Bish. She asks, what is your favorite hotel tat you've given to a Dama player? It could also be, Sweets' basement. It doesn't have to be a hotel.
I was going to say, does it have to be a hotel tat?
That was definitely all-time fave for sure. Fucking Bish's tat, of course. Oh! That was sick too.
Yeah, hers is sick too.
What did you give her? I don't know about this.
Oh, it's just like a little exclamation mark.
That's it. Just exclamation mark. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all like, it's kind of
hell yeah.
3D.
Okay.
It reminds me of the cartoon Freakazoid. Ooh. If anybody remembers that one.
Yeah.
Freakazoid.
That was a fucking good cartoon.
What else did I do? Fuck, there's a lot of good ones, man. I can't really, there's not really a favorite. They're just all, good to mention, you know? Yeah. Like, Danye's tat was pretty sick.
The panther one, right?
It was the panther climbing up the fucking...
Oh, nice. Was it...
Nice.
I was about to say, is that like the classic? Like if you go to any tattoo parlor, like you'll always see like the tiger, like the lion or whatever,
Black
Panther's crawling up.
It's exactly that one, yeah. But we wrapped it around the fucking kendama, so it's climbing up the kendama.
Yeah.
That was sick. I did an armband.
The flower one that took you like 6 hours or some shit when you...
Was it on chest? Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fucking sick one.
That one was sick. Definitely a lot of work too. Gucci Moon Boots tattoos. That was fun. We did like a Gemini wolf. So it was like fucking double-headed wolf.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
I think it had like 3 eyes. Mm-hmm. They were all fun, man. They're all, yeah. Man,
I want to interject my own little question just on this topic while we're on it.
Yeah.
We're talking about, like, hotel Dama tattoos. What's the craziest shit that's happened while you were tattooing? There has to be, like, someone come in, like, fish come in, fucking barreling, jumping over you or some shit like that. Something like that has to have happened.
Right? You then puked all over the tattoo.
I hope that didn't happen.
Yeah, nothing crazy like that. Roush had an interesting experience.
I was thinking this was going to be what you answered, honestly. I was thinking this was...
I just don't know how, you know, how much he wants out there.
I mean, yeah. We don't have to get graphic.
It wasn't like anything too crazy.
It wasn't that
That's the thing, yeah. But, like, yeah, because sometimes, like, people pass out on their first tattoos.
I passed out getting my first tattoo. Not the first session, the second session, but still.
Yeah, see, dude, that's, yeah. And a lot of the times, like, I think it's happened to me 3 times with people. And it's always like they don't eat.
They're like stressed about the process.
They're like super anxious. Yeah, they were like anxious about that shit, right? So then when we start, they get like this flushed out.
Blood's rushing. They're just like, oh.
Yeah, the body goes into panic mode, right? It's just like, whoa.
So yeah, those would all be the only things that have been crazy. It's just the 3 people passing out.
Do they come back right away?
Yeah, for the most part. Like, usually they just kind of, and then like catch themselves before they even drop completely, you know? And then they'll like get real nauseous too. And like, you can see it on them, you know? You can see them turn pale, and then fucking, you could see the look of anxiety in their eyes. Freak out.
Oh shit, I'm passing out. What's happening? Where am I going?
Like, oh my god, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And they'll usually sometimes say too, something's wrong.
Mash, Steve.
They'll be like, something's wrong.
Hey Steve.
You know?
Going down.
And I'm looking at them like, no, actually, this is normal. You're good.
Yeah.
You know, because that's basically, I think, what you want to hear in that moment. That you're not like, this is not some random shit.
Right.
This is not a crazy occurrence that is a big problem. Yeah. Yes, you'll be fine.
This is normal. You're good. And that's when I'm like, you didn't eat, did you? And
I had a McGriddle on the way here,
but we had these beers instead. So
yeah, right. All right, bad idea.
Yeah, Alex passed out.
I remember. I was there when that. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah,
poor guy. But he made it through.
But he
came back.
Oh yeah, he came back. He came back funny, because it was like he passed out, and then I didn't know what to do, so I gave it like instinct said to give him that like classic slap in the face. So I did.
The little like. Hey.
I was like, oh shit, and then. He like snapped back and he was like, Steve. And he's like, I'm getting tattooed.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's so good.
And then he was good, man. Like after that he was fucking fine. Yeah,
it's the same thing with me when
that's been the case with everybody.
So good.
Hell yeah, that's the way she goes.
Legendary tattoo. Tatting a legendary person. It's got to have a legendary story behind it.
That's true. Hell yeah, that was also in Sweets' house. Not in the basement though, upstairs in the little dining room.
This was a kitchen tat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, nice. So we got one good one from the Instagram. Here we go. What are some of the biggest inspirations when painting tamas?
Yeah, for sure. Like the designs that I put on the tamas aren't just for like, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking do this or whatever. I mean, sometimes they are like the animal series, you know, that one. I put the animals on because I like the animals and I wanted to donate. That was awesome. What was it?
Golden Panda?
Rescue.
What else did you have?
The sloth, I think. The sloth
on
bane.
The bamboos. Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah, there was a handful. Like, but mostly when I do the design, it's like based off of what I think would help with certain things. You know, like the stripes were just clean, minimal stripes to help with tracking. Mm-hmm. You know, and like that was the basic idea behind those. And then half splits, sort of the same thing. Everything's kind of based off of like how well I think you'll be able to track these lines, or you know. But yeah, other than that, it's just like playing within those boundaries of what I think will work. Because you notice there's like never any fucking like vertical stripes on the Dama.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of shit. Like it's pretty rare. Yeah, because if you've ever played one, they're fucking insane.
Yeah, they're weird, man. They're trippy.
Yeah.
Chromes,
but it's like all those
Zebranos, the Chrome Zebra.
Oh yeah, there's been some vertical ones for sure. Yeah. Spectra Tamas are crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. I painted a few vertical ones.
Yeah, I have an old Spectra LBB Tama that was vertical stripes, and it makes sense because like the end grain is stronger, so like the bevel will last longer than if you did it with horizontal stripes, right? Because then it would be side grain. But it looks fucking crazy when you're playing and you do an earth turn. You're like, fuck, my eyes start doing the. I'm like, wait, is this a Tama? Like, is there 3 Tamas? What the fuck?
But then it's like, why is that? Are we just like all tuned in to normal, to seeing horizontal as normal?
I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely the colors. That's the biggest thing. I remember, what was it? When Sweets released that one, like, it was red and yellow and orange or something. I forgot what it was called right now. But it was all very vibrant, and just looking at that thing hurt my eyeballs. Just the contrast, the combination of those colors were invading. And then to play with it and have that Tama spin, I was like, yeah, no way. No way. Yeah, right? even like the GT, what was it? The Americano. Having that like spin, I think it's just like a white and a black. And that flip around. Even just on the Ken, I was contrast. Like, just looks a little awkward. Like, I don't know, I think I might puke right now. Like, kind of, whoa.
So I think that has to do with having, like, maybe a slight astigmatism in your eyes. Because there's some things, like, for me, there's, like, some flooring patterns when, like, there's tile patterns that are, like, lines, like, kind of like the stripes that we're talking about. But when there's, like, a hard pattern and they, like, alternate between, like, black and white or something that contrasts really hard. Yeah. It'll fuck my eyes up. And my eyes, like, kind of, like, get like kind of shaky and weird, like as if I'm like really fucking drunk or stoned or something. Dude. I'm not, but that's what happens with those kinds of things. You know what I mean? I think that's what it has to do with.
Straight up, the entrance.
I'm no doctor or anything. Dr. Rod does not know best. However, that's my guess.
That sounds pretty legit to me.
I totally hear you. I get the same shit. I almost feel like I'm getting vertigo. There's this one building at my company, and the entrance has this weird like marble pattern, tile around in the lobby, and every time I'm like waiting for the elevator, I'm just like looking around, like looking at the wall and the floor. I feel like I'm like, whoa, I'm like dizzy or some shit. So there's something that like reacts with different people, and same with that one fucking famous Pokemon episode with the blue and the red flashing, sending people into seizures and shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then they play it later on, like in the afternoon, to tell the parents, like, this is what happened when kids went to the fucking hospital, and then a bunch of parents went to the hospital because they played the same exact fucking clip. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's definitely something with our eyes and having those colors. Some go well, and sometimes it's not for the best.
Yeah.
Seizure Tama.
Seizure Tama.
Seizure Tama. Give it to your enemies.
Epileptic earth turns.
Yeah. Last one standing. Yeah.
Last one standing. Christ.
So Mash, you're having a good time tattooing, not only on your own, but coming to these Dama events, tattooing the old buddies, doing Dama tattoos. It's super cool. Will everyone or anyone be able to experience new style Mash Tamas on these bigger bevels, these bigger Tamas? Is there going to be a Kazuma Iwata time where Mugen Muso fucking makes their comeback? Or is Sour Mash gonna have a comeback?
The new Sour Mash.
The only thing I'm really doing still with kendamas is I'll paint customs for people.
So that's still open.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still open, but I just won't take everybody's orders, you know?
It's just shit that you want to do kind of thing?
Kinda, yeah.
Nice.
Because, like, it takes
time. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like you said, like, you did a bunch of stuff of what people wanted and whatnot, and people didn't really buy it and shit. So now it's like...
No. You know what was my favorite out of that outcome, though?
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. Out of that whole, like, questionnaire thing, the one that came out of that was, like, my favorite jam, was those perch kendamas.
Oh, yeah.
The bird.
The 70-30 with the little fucking
bird on it.
That matched the color.
Oh man, I've been thinking recently too, because I've been making kendamas that I've been calling it with the bird spot on it, right? Because like right where the bird sits, I'll put a different wood. And I was thinking when I came up with, I was like, that's totally like with those mashed tamas that had the little bird on it.
Yeah.
It's like we need to do a collab or at least shit like that. We've talked about doing a collab before and never got to, but we should do that one of these days.
Yo, there we go.
That'd be sick.
Shit, I'm still down.
I'm
man.
always down.
I still love kendamas.
Yeah, totally. Let's bring it back. Get it.
Hell yeah.
So everyone can know.
If I get inspired to make a batch of kendamas, I might do so. I don't know when that's going to be. I still have like a pretty decent amount of stock left, just like blank, all those natty mash kendamas. So maybe something.
And as you were saying, like if anybody's kind of interested in customs and they have a good idea and you're willing to do it, they could hit you up and see if you're down and talk about some stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where should they do that? Should they just DM you on Instagram or go to your website?
The Mr.Sourmash.com page is probably the best way to reach me through there.
All right. There you go, everyone. You can nerds.
Mr.Sourmash.com.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mash paint was like.
Exactly. But I'm pretty picky about what I do just because the time is not the same anymore.
You got a lot of tattoos to do, like you were saying.
Exactly. So yeah, if you don't want to get your Dama painted, if you're in the area in Texas, or possibly an event, a Dama event that Mash is going to be at, let them know.
Exactly.
Get the old inks back in there.
Right.
Bam.
Right. But who knows when the next event's going to be? Everyone's just doing online events. COVID-19.
On that note, actually, this is a funny, weird thing. I don't know how much like anybody knows about this, but I got invited to a secret invite-only underground kendama tournament via Zoom tomorrow at noon. Yeah, I had to pick a trick for it. It's like an open style, and there's 32 competitors and $100 cash prize. I don't know who's all in it, and I don't know what's going on with it. I don't even know what Zoom is. I got to figure that out before tomorrow morning. But
yeah, I don't know what that is either.
There you go. It's just like
things are still happening though. That's a little bright side to this. Is what I'm getting at.
There you go. Yeah,
things are still going on.
Well, there we are, everyone. We're coming to pretty much. Let's wrap this up. We've been all jamming for a while. I get back.
We have been on the grind
to my family duties and shit. I'm sure it's getting late for you guys.
It's getting there.
Yeah,
not so bad, but
Mash, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Dude, my pleasure.
Everyone, a really great one.
Hells yeah. Always a pleasure.
My pleasure, man.
Mr. Sourmash.
Yeah. Right? We have always kendama players and CEOs, founders on this. And it's the first time to have a painter, an artist, the artist series.
All right.
Here. So super rad. And of course, the first artist that we got to have is the first dude who is making art on Damas. Mr.
Sourmash himself.
Yes, exactly. So it was so good. Everyone, thanks for hanging out and listening to the episode. If you would like to support the Damanerds and kendertainment, is stuff that I've been creating with the man. I was about to say the boy. No one's got to say boy.
The boy.
Boys. Well, we were boys. We're all now grown-ass men. The man,
it's
Rod, hand in hand.
You can call me a boy, but I don't mind. I know what you mean.
If you want to support, head over to the Patreon kendertainment page. We have a bunch of awesome tiers that you can check out, see what you get. You get the raffle, free Damas, you get shirts, you get your chance to be highlighted for questions in Damanerds, of course. Also, just share, leave a comment. Even, you know what, guys? Just liking on Instagram or leaving a comment really helps us out a lot. So,
hell yeah.
Spread the word. The nerd love.
That nerd love.
Exactly.
Stick those glasses on. Keep those pockets protected.
Oh, yeah.
Those ties tied.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Stay nerdy, nerds. Destroy those Damas.
Hells yeah. That's what
Keep
it's all
those lunars
about.
clean.
Stay nerdy.
And, stay nerdy.
That was episode 31.
I guess on that note, the nerds are out.